Hey guys, just before starting this video, I'm noticing that it's a little bit scattered and a little bit wonky with the camera work. I'm sorry about that, so hopefully you can forgive me for that. Hey! Today's video is going to be a rant, so if you do not like rants, I warn you, click away now. Okay, so for those of you who are left, I have a story to tell you. I take accessible transportation because there are some days where I will take my walker or my wheelchair or a different mobility aid, and sometimes it's just easier to get somebody to drive me there versus actually going there on the bus. But when I can take the bus, I will, because I find it a lot easier. For this reason, one of the main reasons, you have to book this accessible transportation service 2 days in advance at least, and at minimum I think you can book it even 11 a.m. prior, which is fine. That I understand. I completely understand that you need to have people to schedule the trips and all that type of thing. I also understand that you would have a priority system because people who are going shopping versus people who actually need to get to a doctor's appointment are two separate types of clientele. I understand that. What I take issue with is at this particular service, they will ask you, and what are you doing at that location? So you could be doing grocery shopping, you could be going to the doctor, and you have to say, oh, it's a doctor's appointment. And they say, what kind of doctor's appointment? I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I'm like, what? I mean, you're my transportation. You're not my medical professional. And if I was on the actual bus being the regular city transit, nobody's gonna ask me, oh, where are you going and why are you going there? It makes no sense to me. And I'll be honest with you, I was booking some trips to my tattoo parlor and to see another doctor, and they ask me what kind of trips those are, and I have to say, oh, well, it's a meeting. Okay, well, what kind of meeting is it? Does it really matter? It's a meeting. Like, ugh. I'm really very mad about it, because as much as I understand, okay, they need to know if you're going to a meeting. They need to know if you're going to the doctor. They need to know if you are going on some kind of recreational something. I understand that, but getting into people's personal lives and people's personal health goings on is not your job, and I don't care who you think you are. It's still not your job unless you are family or have like MD at the beginning or end of a title that you hold. And I'm not trying to demean the people who book these trips, but if you're just a trip booking agent, you don't need to know about how people, like what people are dealing with. I don't need to tell you if I am, going to make returns, or if I am dealing with a medical emergency. I am following all your other rules, and all I'm saying in way of trying to get there is please help me get there. I just feel like I would deserve the same type of respect almost, and I hate to use that word, but I don't see why you would even need to know that. It's just like today too, or the past couple of days, I've gotten a lot of, so what kind of disability do you have? From like random people on the street. And I'm saying to myself, like, am I asking you if you have a third toe? Like, it doesn't really matter. And if I say something that is kind of, you know, witty or sarcastic and be like, oh, the kind that makes me not walk very well, then it's like, well, it was a valid question. And yeah, it may have been a valid question in your head, but to me, that's very offensive if you don't really, like, know me, like, prior to saying that. Like, if, you know, you're in the middle of a conversation and, you know, the conversation is gone 15, 20 minutes, even 10 minutes, and you are actually, you know, making an effort to get to know a person and you ask them what type of disability they have, I have no problem with that. It's the times when people just ask out of nowhere, and, you know, I'll tell them I'm not that callous, but I just, it's these types of things that are like deeply personal, at least to me as a disabled person, a person with a disability, however PC you want to be about it, that really get me. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of trip I'm making, if I'm making a trip across town or if I'm making a trip down the street. It's your job to get me there. That's what I pay you to do. And if I'm walking down the street, like, I'm just another taxpayer. I'm, you know, and yeah, you might be interested, and that's fine. Like, I understand that. But maybe try and find a different way to ask me other than, like, hey, what's wrong with you? Or, oh, you walk funny. Yeah, I know that. You want to state more obvious things? If you guys have had any types of experiences like this, or want to give me any advice on how to deal with my transportation issue, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Otherwise, keep pushing, and I will see you in the comments. Bye.